Yo, what is going on, everybody? So the world is literally boycotting American tourism right now. Hotels are cutting shifts, restaurants are going from 24/7 to self-service buffets, Canadians are canceling trips left and right, and the tourism industry is hemorrhaging billions of dollars. And somehow the MAGA crowd is out here acting like everything is totally fine. Like, bro, your local economy is collapsing and you're still waving flags like it's a parade. We got a lot to unpack today, so welcome back to Mind Mirror. Let's get into it.
The restaurant, it went from 24/7 to 2 shifts to 1 shift to a self-service buffet. Last November we were 24/7. February we went down to the 2 shifts, and then a couple months later we went down to the 1 shift, and then as of today we're down to the buffet shift, self-service buffet, no more service. As of yesterday, the servers were all laid off. Because of our union contract, I do have priority hiring at my hotel. So I'm hopeful to have a job, hopefully by the end of the week because of that. But it's going to be a less paying job, so I'm going to have to see where I can cut some stuff. So it's...
Man, this is what people don't talk about enough. When tourism dies, it doesn't just affect some big fancy hotel chain. It's the regular everyday workers who get crushed first. This dude went from a full 24/7 operation to basically a glorified cafeteria in a few months. And the MAGA bros will look at this and say, well, just get another job. Like it's that simple. Meanwhile, these are the same guys who voted for a man who bankrupted casinos. Like, bro, he couldn't make money in a building where people voluntarily hand you cash. And now he's running the whole country's economy the same way. The people feeling this pain right now aren't immigrants or foreigners. They're American workers losing hours, losing pay, and losing sleep over bills that don't stop coming.
It's scary.
So I've canceled my next trip to the United States. I was meant to be going there in later April. I was looking forward to it as well, like going to Boston, New England, beautiful places, lovely people. In fact, I even have both friends and actually some relatives in Maine, but I've canceled it because ICE or whatever the hell it is detaining people. I mean, they detained a young Canadian for 10 days. They apparently arrested a bunch of Germans recently. They're going through people's phones. Like, this is meant to be, the United States is meant to be the beacon of democracy and freedom and so forth. Well, it is anything but. This is what fascism actually looks like. It is awful in North Korea, and it is awful in Saudi Arabia, and it is awful in Iran. So we can all be honest about that. But when that sort of thing settles in to what we consider to be the free world, that is the erosion of any value that we actually stand for. So I bring business to the United States, right? I run tours. Well, I'm not going to now. It's shocking, but I woke up 3 days in a row worrying about flying down there. And then I talked to someone I know kind of on the inside who said, don't fly in if you're not an American citizen. Like, this is how terrible it is at the moment. So it's sad and it's shocking, but hey, I'm off to Europe in a few days. I can fly down to South America, a lot of beautiful places. And American friends are welcome up here, absolutely. But if you're going to come up and wave a Trump flag, then,
See, this is what MAGA doesn't understand. When the whole world starts looking at your country and saying, yeah, I'm good, I'll go somewhere else. That's not them being dramatic. That's them protecting themselves. This man literally runs tours to America. That's his business. And he's saying, nah, I can't even send people there anymore. The MAGA bros hear this and go, good, we don't want foreigners anyway. Not realizing those foreigners were literally paying your bills. Every tourist that doesn't come is money that doesn't go to your local restaurant, your hotel, your gas station. But sure, keep chanting, build the wall while your whole economy crumbles behind it. The irony is these guys claim to be about America first, but they're making America last on every traveler's list.
don't bother.
You cannot convince me at this point that Donald Trump is not intentionally sabotaging the economy. Every idea this man comes up with that involves anything having to do with the economy or businesses or trade, everything he does hurts our economy. This man has not made one smart or intelligent or even neutral economic decision since coming into office. And this week, he unveiled something that analysts are saying is going to accelerate America's economic decline. And it's this. Donald Trump, who, as we all know, hates immigrants, a very xenophobic and racist individual, has a new plan that he wants to put in place. And this plan would involve foreign tourists who come into the United States having to pay a bond when they apply for their travel visa to come here. And that bond, you'd get it back when you leave, but the bond would be, as Trump said, anywhere between $5,000 upwards of $15,000.
Ontario residents are now
A bond of $5,000 to $15,000 just to visit? Let that marinate for a second. What tourist is going to front $15,000 just for the privilege of spending more money at your hotels and restaurants? That's like charging someone a cover fee to walk into a store where they're already planning to buy everything. It makes zero business sense. The countries that are thriving in tourism right now: Morocco, Egypt, Brazil, they're rolling out the red carpet while we're basically putting up a velvet rope with a bouncer, and the people who cheer this on don't realize they're the ones who work at that store.
canceling their trips to the U.S. to get back at Donald Trump. That's right, Ontario residents are now boycotting travel to the U.S. along with the boycott on American products and services, with people online saying if they hurt my country, I don't see why I should spend my money there. Many Canadian businesses are also exploring alternative international markets to reduce U.S. travel, as Trump announced tariffs on steel and aluminum on Monday and vows to put tariffs on all Canadian imports next month.
Another one bites the dust, and another one down, and another one down, another one bites the dust. Yeah.
We have some major news right now. U.S. businesses are being throttled because tourism is tanking in the United States of America under the Trump administration. According to Fortune reporting, businesses across America are seeing a mass reduction in tourism and sales because of Trump's policies. And this is only expected to get worse. Experts warn that if this new rule that the Trump administration is considering to essentially require foreigners to submit a 5-year backlog of their entire social media data, along with the addresses of family and friends and other personal information, tourism will only continue to sink under this administration, would probably cripple many small businesses in the United States of America that rely on foreign tourists to survive here in the United States of America. And right now, U.S. businesses are already being throttled, some up to 27%.
27% decline is not a dip, that's a crater. This man is showing receipts. Businesses throttled small operations getting choked out in real time. And here's what kills me. The social media data requirement is absolutely insane. 5 years of your entire social media history plus addresses of friends and family. What tourist in their right mind is handing over that kind of information just to see the Grand Canyon? You're basically asking people to submit a surveillance file on themselves for a vacation. Meanwhile, every other country on Earth is making it easier to visit. The competition isn't sleeping while America builds walls around its tourism industry. This isn't just bad policy. This was economic self-harm on a massive scale.
In decline. Spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along, stay updated on all the news that you need to know about. More to come very soon.
Whoa. Okay, so don't come to America right now. I mean, all the obvious reasons why, but this is not safe for you. I just heard about 2 German young men who flew in to Honolulu Airport who were detained by ICE. They were questioned for hours. They were strip searched, naked, strip searched. They were placed in green jumpsuits, and they were put in a holding cell with criminals. Don't come here. It's not safe. It's not safe for me. I'm born and raised here. It's not safe for me. It's definitely not safe for you. Please, 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 please. Don't come here right now.
She said it's not safe for her, and she was born and raised here. That's not political commentary. That's a woman telling you about her lived experience. Strip searched. Put in green jumpsuits, thrown in holding cells with criminals. These were tourists. German guys flying to Hawaii for vacation. Hawaii. The most chill, relaxing destination in America. And they got treated like they were on an episode of Locked Up Abroad. When your own citizens are begging foreigners to stay away for their own protection, something has fundamentally broken.
Don't come here right now.
If you haven't been there, you're welcome to come. But everybody knows Las Vegas. You know that's the main revenue generator for our state? Tourism and travel. Tourism and travel. Do you know what happens when you impose high tariffs, reciprocal tariffs on some of our allies like Canada? That means we're not seeing people traveling, international traveling, coming to Las Vegas and to this country. Do you know the United States benefits $12 billion from international travelers? Over $20 billion annually in 2024. That's not happening now. I can tell you, in my state, as I talk to folks in my hotels and casinos, and I talk to individuals who are focused on travel and tourism, we are not seeing that. We are seeing a downturn in the types of travel coming to Las Vegas. It is having a negative impact, not just directly for those businesses, but indirectly for the small businesses. And by the way, Donald Trump may think this is a short-term hurt, but what he doesn't realize is 90% of American small businesses say trade is an important function for their growth, and they have a profit margin that is very slim. They are not going to be able to survive whatever Donald Trump thinks that this is some short-term hurt. Small businesses, which are the backbone of our economy, are getting crushed right now. I know it because I just heard from my small businesses. One of them lost a contract with a Canadian contractor. We're seeing it all the time. Any of my small businesses that directly or indirectly deal in tourism travel.
She's not guessing she's talking to these business owners directly. One small business already lost a contract with a Canadian contractor just like that. And what people don't understand is small businesses operate on razor-thin margins. We're talking 2-3% profit margins, where one lost contract can mean layoffs. 90% of American small businesses say trade is critical to their growth. These aren't corporations with billions in reserves. These are families running shops and restaurants. The backbone of the economy is getting snapped right now. And the folks who claim to love small business the most are the ones cheering on the policies destroying them. That's not irony. That's tragedy.
They're getting crushed. The tariffs, the policies of the Senate Republicans thinking they can add to the deficit and the debt to pay for, to help billionaires and the wealthy in this country on the backs of the American people and small businesses, it's just disgusting and outrageous.
Well, Republican leadership is failing our country in every way. The tourism industry is going to be the first to go. On today's edition of Even a Southerner is Smarter Than a President, Las Vegas is a city where lots of people go to spend a lot of money, foreigners and Americans. So naturally, under the Trump regime, a place like Las Vegas is going to be the first to fall. In this Biff Tannen-esque hellscape Trump has created, only capital citizens can afford to go places like Vegas. All of us out here in the district are sharing Netflix logins just to get by. Obviously, we can't afford $475 per person Adele residency tickets. Nevertheless, flights to Vegas are always packed, and recently there has been a drastic decline in tourism to that city. Just from Canada alone, it has dropped 55% compared to last year. Right now, the Vegas Strip and the Hard Rock Hotel pools are all empty, and there is no indication of economic uptick on the horizon. Of course, to this Southerner, it is no surprise that a man with so many business bankruptcies is bad at running the business of the U.S. economy. Anyone who thought things were going to go so well under him obviously didn't pay attention to his first term and just ate up all the propaganda he was feeding them. Reality is about to start setting in pretty hard on some MAGA out there. I'll see y'all later.
She said it perfectly. A man with multiple business bankruptcies is bad at running the business of America. Like, how is this surprising to anyone? The MAGA bros treated this man like some kind of business genius. When his track record literally includes bankrupting casinos, steaks, airlines, a university, Canadian tourism to Vegas dropped 55% compared to last year, 55%. The pools are empty, the Strip is quiet, and there's no uptick on the horizon. And she's right when she says reality is about to hit hard. Because you can only ignore economic pain for so long before your bank account forces you to pay attention. The propaganda bubble is real, but rent is realer, and that bill comes every single month.
Well, you weren't imagining it. From those packed beaches to climbing over each other at historic sites, global tourism hit a record high last year. The latest UN tourism report has revealed there were 1.5 billion international tourist arrivals last year, with the biggest increases for Brazil, Egypt, Morocco and the Seychelles. Morocco and Tunisia helped propel Africa up 8%, with 81 million arrivals. But one country isn't doing so well. The US saw arrivals fall by 5.4%, although Americans travelling domestically has helped stem some of the losses to their tourism industry. Australia, though, is still proving popular, with our international tourist arrivals up 6.6% last year. And there is a prediction worldwide this year will be even bigger, growing another 3 to 4%. But with over-tourism protests growing in Europe and even Mexico, the pressure on housing and the environment worsening, tourism in 2026 might not look like you remember.
Please do not come to the United States. We are not the same country we were 4 months ago. It is not safe here anymore. They can pull you off the street. They can detain you. They'll do God knows what to you. They're doing it to our own citizens. They will do it to you. Please do not support American products. Don't buy American. Don't vacation here. I'm very sorry to say this, and I want to apologize on behalf of all rational Americans in this country who are fighting Trump tooth and nail with everything we have. We're sorry. We're doing the best we can to get rid of this guy. And all his crooked cronies, but we're having a very difficult time doing it. We handed him the keys. An ignorant populace handed him the keys to this kingdom, and we're finding it very difficult to even slow him down, frankly. I think America's done. I hate to say that, but I don't know how much we can do, what we can do to slow this guy down. We're trying very hard. Please don't support us anymore. And to my government, my friends in government all over the world who we dealt with in business and for so many years, you guys were so good to us all over the place. You know, France, Australia, the United Kingdom, of course, Canada, of course, Mexico, you know, Costa Rica, Panama, all over Asia. You know, you guys have been wonderful partners to us for years. I'm so sorry Trump is treating you like dirt. Don't expect anything better from him in the future. He's a tyrant. He wants to be a dictator, and frankly, he's turning into one very quickly. Again, we're having a hard time slowing him down. I'm sorry to say that. Please don't trust this guy. If you're working in government, he makes you a promise. His promise is worth nothing. I've known this guy for 30 years. His word is worthless. And that goes for all of his crooked cronies in our GOP that are supporting him. Do not trust this guy. Do not trust. The reason I'm telling you this right now, if you're wondering, is because I'm getting out to a couple million people on social media a week now, and he's going to shut me down. He's shutting friends of mine down. He's threatening my friends that have millions and millions of viewers on social media that are rational thinking people. He's threatening them within an inch of their life. He's going after them for taxes. He's going after them for any way he can. And I'm afraid it's going to continue, and I won't be able to say this, so I'm saying it now. Do not trust anything American at this point. We are not the same country. I don't know that we ever will be. Again, apologies from America. You guys have been so great to us, and we're so sorry. Please do not.
Did you know that many countries around the world have travel advisories against coming to the U.S.? It is considered unsafe to set foot in the U.S. Many countries are actively warning their citizens not to travel here for as long as Donald Trump is in charge.
Travel advisories. Against the United States of America. We used to be on everyone's bucket list, now we're on their do not fly list. She laid out the whole thing: healthcare crisis, gun violence, mass deportation, citizens getting brutalized. And the people who disagree with her can't actually dispute any of those facts. Every single thing she listed is documented and measurable. Other countries aren't making this up to be dramatic. They're looking at data. When your country gets classified alongside places people are warned about visiting, you've lost something that takes decades to rebuild. Reputation is everything in tourism, and right now, America's reputation is in the gutter.
Due to our lack of freedoms, the United States is no longer considered a first world country. We can't afford health care, we have excessive gun violence and school shootings, and we are deporting people all day, every day, for no reason at all. People are being detained and brutalized. U.S. citizens, our own citizens. So it should come as no surprise that people all over the world wouldn't dream of setting foot in our country.
Visitors are even being told by their home countries to take their vacations and money elsewhere.
Do you feel like your friends and family feel comfortable traveling there?
No. Nobody I know back in England or here
and then the police can take them and just take them to a country outside the States, and then they're not a protected citizen anymore.
Horror stories are emerging of treatment at the border, with one story so shocking it's got many asking if America's still safe.
I think the atmosphere is changing there, so I would prefer to go there. I'd probably stay in Europe.
On a quiet stretch of border between Ontario and New York, something strange is happening. The duty-free shops are still stocked, the highways are still open, the signs still read, "Welcome to the United States." But the cars? They are not coming. Not like they used to. The numbers are in, and they are shocking. Canadian road trips into the United States have dropped more than 35% this year alone. That is not a slump, that is a crash, and it is just the beginning. Before we continue, hit that like button to help us beat the YouTube algorithm and to show your support. Across airports, amusement parks, and hotel lobbies in America's most visited cities, the silence is growing louder. International travelers, once the lifeblood of United States tourism, are disappearing. From Mexico to Germany, from China to the United Kingdom, fewer people are flying in, fewer are booking tours, and fewer are spending money. It is not a pandemic. It is not fear of war. This time, the enemy is paper-thin, but politically loaded tariffs. And together with diplomatic retaliation, price inflation, and economic uncertainty, they are draining the United States tourism sector of its lifeblood. By the end of this year, the United States is on track to lose over $12 billion in foreign travel spending. That is not an estimate. It is a confirmed retreat in international demand. But when you stretch that number across the last few years since the trade war escalated, the cumulative damage is staggering. The United States has already lost more than $30 billion in tourism-related revenue since 2021. If current trends hold, by the end of 2025, that number will cross $200 billion. $200 billion gone.
$200 billion gone, and most Americans don't even know it happened. That number is so big it almost loses meaning. So let me break it down. In 2019, international tourists supported over 1 million American jobs. Hotel staff, restaurant workers, tour guides, gift shop employees, taxi drivers, real people with real families depending on visitors showing up and spending money. Now, spending is down 22% from pre-trade war levels and accelerating New York, Orlando, San Francisco. These cities built entire economies around welcoming the world, and now that welcome mat is getting pulled while the welcome sign still hangs on the door. This isn't about politics anymore. This is about survival. The people who lose these jobs don't care about ideology. They care about making rent.
Quietly. Now here is what is truly astonishing. Back in 2019, international tourists spent nearly $200 billion in the United States. That year, the tourism sector supported over 1 million American jobs. Cities like New York, Orlando, and San Francisco relied heavily on this foreign spending to keep their hotels booked, their restaurants full, and their small businesses alive. But fast forward to today, and global travel reports show international tourist spending in the United States has dropped by 22% from its pre-trade war peak. That is not just a correction, it is a seismic shift, and it is driven by a very specific kind of backlash. Economic retaliation dressed in patriotic tourism. Let us talk about Canada. Historically, it is the single largest source of foreign tourists to the United States. But following a wave of American tariffs on Canadian imports, something changed. Earlier this year,
America is facing a tourism crisis. We are set to lose $31 billion just in 2025 in tourism alone. But wait. It's getting worse. Did you know the government shutdown is what affects travel and the economy? We lost $3 billion a week, mostly in tourism, when the government was shut down in 2018. $3 billion a week in tourism. Travel canceled, money not spent. I want to remind you that Canadians spend $20 billion a year in the United States, and they are boycotting the USA. That would have created 140,000 jobs. Yes, tourism creates jobs. Tourism stimulates the economy. Tourism is #1 in Las Vegas. Many other states, tourism is a huge part of the economy. Trump is tanking tourism and the United States. Tell me I am wrong.
Hotels cutting to skeleton crews, Vegas going silent, $200 billion in tourism revenue just gone, countries warning their citizens not to visit America, and small businesses getting crushed from every direction. This is the reality right now, and it's hitting hardest on the people who can least afford it. The workers, the small business owners, the everyday folks who just want to make a living. So here's my question for you. At what point does economic pain override political loyalty? Drop that in the comments because I genuinely want to hear what you think. If this video opened your eyes even a little, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.